Jeez, it's a crit. I was about to say that did way too much. Wow, that's a terrible start. Today, we are going to be trying out a really cool team featuring Eelektross and Iron Treads that did pretty decent in the recent global challenge. Let's see how it performs. This team features Iron Treads and Eelektross with a strong option to go for Disquake. It can be a hard combination for opponents to switch into as there are a lot of ground weaks in the format and you can cover Terra Flying with Discharge. Xianpao Dragonite can hit anything that goes for Terra Grass alongside the Sword of Ruin for Dragonite and Iron Treads. Bulky Life for Fluttermane to help chip to weaken teams, and Garganical to help in matchups that this team can't just brute force. Common leads involve Iron Treads plus Eelektross, Dragonite, or Xianpao, alongside of course the classic Xianpao Dragonite duo. If you would like to check out the details of the team and the creator, it will be linked in the description. Fluttermane, Chi-Yu, the Tyranitar, Scizor, Breloom, and Gyarados. Iron Treads is really good into this matchup besides the Gyarados. Gyarados can be really scary, but we do have an Eelektross, which is also pretty good here. So I think maybe Eelektross plus the Iron Treads is a pretty strong combination. I do have to watch out for Breloom. Breloom is probably one of the scariest. Dragonite's really good here in this matchup for extreme speed, pressure, and then last one, I don't know if it's Xianpao. Xianpao actually might be pretty good. It might be Fluttermane though, because I do like having another fighting resist or immunity here. And just the Scizor is pretty scary to deal with. I don't want to go Garganical in this matchup. I don't think I do. You know, I don't think I want to bring Garganical. Garganical can be taunted from the Gyarados, waterfalled, flinched. Bullet Seed is going to do a lot. I don't know who I'm going to tear in this matchup, but I don't think it's Garganical. I don't think it's Iron Treads either, however, so maybe I could have gotten away if I terrored the Garganical because they don't exactly have the best answers to Terra Garganical. We'll find out. It's going to be Tyranitar and Scizor. All right. So this is a pretty good lead for me here as I do lead my Eelektross and my Iron Treads. A close combat from the Scizor is definitely a pretty scary option into the Iron Treads. I kind of just want to go for... they should be scared of Fire move, however, from the Eelektross because I have Flamethrower too. So do they have any good switches? They have a Gyarados, but I can go for electric moves if I want to. I think my best play is just to Earthquake and get some damage off and then just Flamethrower the Scizor. This could be Policy Tyranitar, but I'm kind of doubting it. Let's see what the Scizor's Terra is because that's going to be pretty important. Or maybe this is Tyranitar's Terra. It's Tyranitar's Terra, which is actually pretty helpful for me. Okay. Gonna be that Terra Flying, so I probably could have Iron Headed, but I want to cover for Scizor, like if it's Terra Fire or something. I don't think it would Terra Fire, but just in case. As we do get an Earthquake off, so Scizor is going down, it looks like this turn, which is pretty positive at least, because we forced a Terra on the Tyranitar. It's not going to get a special defense boost because it doesn't have Sand anymore. Flamethrower knocks out the Scizor, which is like the biggest threat to Fluttermane for me, so I'm very happy about this turn. Let's find out what the Tyranitar is going to be clicking though. It's going to be the low kick in Iron Treads, but Iron Treads is going to be able to tank that, which is very solid. And they don't have priority because Scizor is knocked out. They're going to take sand damage as well. I can go for Discharge. I can go for Thunderbolt the next turn. So I'm in a pretty decent position. I just got to be a little bit cautious. Fluttermane coming in. Okay. Not expecting a Fluttermane here. Booster Energy. Are you speed? Booster speed? Special attack. Okay, so Iron Treads is still faster. That means I probably expect to protect from Fluttermane and them to KO the Iron Treads. If they attack with Fluttermane, I think it's okay since we're Assault Vest Eelektross. I'm going to go for a Thunderbolt into Tyranitar and try to maybe two-shot it. I think it's pretty safe because even if they double up the Eelektross, they don't pick up a knockout here. We are going to see the Fluttermane protect. Excellent. So I imagine this is going to be trying to knock out the Iron Treads. A Thunderbolt is going to do some pretty good damage to this Tyranitar. Yeah, that's a really good amount of damage. And that's a crunch into the Iron Treads. Oh, that's so perfect because now I can just go for Iron Head into the Fluttermane. I can go for a Discharge to cover any switches because it covers for the Gyarados coming in for the Fluttermane slot. It's not looking good for my opponent right here. It is not looking good for my opponent. Oh, this combination is actually so hard for them to stop right now. Iron Head and Discharge. Let's see. Is there a Gyarados swap? There's a Tyranitar Protect. I had a feeling it wasn't the Assault Vest. That Thunderbolt was just doing way too much. Iron Head is going to come out into the Fluttermane and pick up that knockout, which is beautiful. The Fluttermane is eliminated. Who would be their back? Is it Chi-Yu? Go for the discharge. It is gonna fail. They already terra'd. I just click. If it's Chi-Yu, I just go for Earthquake Discharge. If it's Gyarados, I click Discharge and Terra Water with the Eelektross. What else did they have? I can't remember what the last could be. It is Chi-Yu, however. So Earthquake plus Discharge seems pretty safe, and I should be able to pick up a knockout. Unless it's for some reason it's Bulky Policy Chi-Yu. But even then, I got to enough damage where Dragonite plus Flutter Mane will clean up this end game. And it was Breloom as the last potential, which actually could have been scary, but because they brought the sand, they lost the potential Focus Sash. So it was a lot less threatening because all I had to do was, like, you know, pick up the knockout into it with like Flamethrower. Or I'd like switch into one of my threats into Breloom. So Earthquake going to come out into the Chi-Yu, which is going to pick up a knockout. No, just barely missing a knockout because Iron Treads isn't exactly the strongest. We are going to see a Heat Wave come out, pick up the knockout into the Iron Treads, but we do have a discharge coming from Eelektross, and Eelektross gonna clean up this game. Ooh, 3 knockouts for Eelektross. Beautiful. It was just really hard. Yeah, there was no Breloom. They gave me the Scizor immediately, which was fantastic. The Thunderbolt damage into Tyranitar was actually pretty impressive. So very just strong lead that they couldn't break through, and me covering for the Flutter Mane swap. Even if they didn't, like, they would have to, like, what, make a hard read of protecting the Tyranitar, going for a Moonblast into Eelektross, and even then next turn I just Iron Head and Thunderbolt, and I'm still in a pretty safe spot, especially with my Pokemon in the back. So I felt like I was just pretty safe and dominating with my lead. Gyarados, Excalibur, Ting-Lu, Flutter Mane, Orthworm, Dragonite. All right, we have the standard Orthworm stuff, which... Can I damage Orthworm? I mean, I guess Eelektross can, but it's not exactly easy for my team, I would say. Huh. This is going to be a little bit of a problem, isn't it? Eelektross is really good here, however. I like Eelektross a lot. The question is, what am I pairing it up with? Maybe Flutter Mane? I guess I have to go Flutter Mane. Yeah, I need the damage output. But just Ting-Lu Orthworm is going to be pretty tough for this team to actually handle. I'm trying to think of, like, do I have better outs? Because I can't really hit them at all for damage. The Dragonite on my side is I probably need the Iron Treads. I think Iron Treads is probably worth it. Am I bringing Dragonite or am I bringing Garganacl? Garganacl is really strong against their team if set up properly, but it's not exactly the easiest Pokemon setup. I also have no idea where the Terra is going here. It's probably be used for my last Pokemon, and I guess Dragonite's probably the most ideal out of this. I'm not a huge fan of this matchup at all. When looking at it, I just feel like I'm gonna have so many problems. Yes, I could lead like the Chien-Pao, but if I lead Chien-Pao, like Ting-Lu's still gonna be able to live attacks, and then they get a free Shed Tail. So I need a way to damage the Orthworm that's also generally safe. It's just pretty tricky. We'll see if we can do anything, but I am definitely struggling to figure out what I can do in this matchup. I'm gonna Flamethrower immediately the Orthworm to get damage, I think, if they do lead like the Ting-Lu plus the... Oh, they lead Excalibur Ting-Lu, which is not what I expected. Okay. Huh. I wonder where Terra's going. Definitely not what I expected. Huh. Not too concerned about the Excalibur. I'm gonna protect the Flutter Mane, because Flutter Mane is heavily threatened here. Kind of want to just get some damage off in the Ting-Lu immediately. I'm just gonna go for a Giga Drain. Unfortunately, the problem is, okay, they switch out the Ting-Lu. What is coming out? Orthworm. Okay. I guess fearful of a Moonblast combination. That works out in my favor. They tear the Excalibur immediately. Okay, so I want the Scout to see, because I felt like if they were gonna lead, if they had this lead, I feel there was something up with a Terra. Terra Ground. Okay. Oh, they're gonna heal their Ting-Lu. All right. Which I don't mind. So we're gonna protect our Flutter Mane. It's just everything Earthquake on this team, like Earthquake Orthworm spam. It looks like it is gonna be the case. Okay. Huh. So I get a little bit of chip with the Giga Drain. Okay. I don't know if they're going to Icicle Crash or if they're going to Earthquake again. They're probably going to Earthquake again, but I am really scared if they go for an Icicle Crash into me. That would be really awful. I think the play is just to... I think a mid-ground is pretty good here. I think just Dazzling Gleam. Because they're going to go back to full anyway. If I go for Shadow Ball and Orphan and they Earthquake. So I think I'm going to double up the Orphan with Flamethrower plus the Dazzling Gleam. Because I want Chip on the Excalibur to put in range of maybe like the Terra Blast that I have. So let's see if this is going to work. They're going to... Oh, they Glaive Rush here. Huh. Okay. There's a lot to Eelektross, but... Flamethrower? Damage-wise? Picks up the knockout Orphan. Oh, that's such a huge knockout. Oh, critical hit. Its special defense isn't great, but I have no idea what the calcs are on that, but I'll definitely take that knockout. If I Shadow Balled, I think... I don't know. I would have activated Citrus. It would have been pretty tricky. Fluttermane going to come in. All right. They have to Ice Shard here. They have to Ice Shard. I'm just gonna... I might as well just go for a Discharge and protect my Fluttermane because I just want to get in a free switch into my Iron Treads because Iron Treads can just go for Iron Head and I could go for a Terra Moonblast. The Excalibur based on the damage doesn't look like it's Assault Vest. Attack the Fluttermane to be safe. Shadow Ball gonna come out. Excellent. They didn't Icicle Spear though, so this or Ice Shard. Icicle Spear. Okay, that's probably loaded dice then. All right, that makes it easier. I'm gonna go out into my Iron Treads then. Iron Treads dish out a lot of damage right now. Go for an Iron Head, and I don't know if I want to Terra Moonblast. That's the thing. I have no idea if this is Specs Fluttermane or not. I'm trying to think if the best play is to Iron Head. I just have no idea if the Fluttermane has Protect. Because if the Fluttermane has Protect, they can Protect Earthquake. But I have no idea if that's worth risking. The problem is that I'm just going to be taking so much damage this turn. I really don't... I guess I don't need to Terra the Dragonite. Yeah, I don't have to Terra, I guess, in order to win the game. I'm going to Moonblast the Excalibur, and I'm just going to Iron Head the Excalibur. If they switch into Ting Lu, that's okay. Which, yeah, like Fluttermane and a Ting Lu, that made a lot of sense to me. Because I think they want the Terra... I think they want damage. And Ting Lu helps to cover for, like, the special attack from the Fluttermane, so the Excalibur doesn't go down to, like, the Moonblast that I'm about to dish out. And if I Iron Headed that slot, then Excalibur probably gets a choice of a knockout. It could go for Earthquake, it could go for Icicle Crash. If it protects, that's okay. I don't think that's awful for me, because I can still double up the Excalibur to slot the following turn with Iron Head Moonblast. And yeah, it looks like that's gonna be the case. So I get an Iron Head off into Excalibur. I might not have needed to go for Moonblast. I think Dazzling Gleam would have been enough, but yeah, this is really good. All right, goodbye Excalibur. Fantastic. Okay, I think that should just... I wouldn't say seal up the victory yet, because it heavily depends on the Ting Lu. It also depends on the Fluttermane item choices, because Choice Band Ting Lu can knock out the Iron Treads. The Fluttermane, if it's, you know, if it has Choice Specs, it can't protect, so that's a pretty big deal. So yeah, we're just gonna double protect. They don't really have any setup moves other than Substitute Fluttermane, I guess it could be, but it wasn't Booster Energy, so I don't think that's gonna be the case. At least I'm pretty sure we didn't see Booster Energy. I should just be able to protect, or double protect, scout for what they're going to click. They locked themselves into a ground move with Ting Lu. They do lose to Dragonite, but the thing is I have to make sure I knock out the Fluttermane before the case, because I can't hit their Fluttermane with my Dragonite because I Terra'd my Fluttermane. So that's the only concern. It's still a game, but it really just depends on their sets. So we'll protect here with the Iron Treads. We're going to protect with Fluttermane. All right, what's your item choices? What are your item choices? Shadow Ball coming out into the Iron Treads. Calming Tantrum, Heavy Slam. Earthquake. Okay, they even did my job for me and they went for an Earthquake. I feel like that has to be Choice Band then, if that's the case. They locked themselves in an Earthquake. They're going to take a lot of damage. Oh. Speaking of a lot of damage, that's a guaranteed way I win the game. They get their own Fluttermane. I mean, if the Fluttermane I feel like if you're gonna go for the earthquake like that, you probably, I mean, I don't even know at this point. Just gonna go for an Iron Head Moonblast. Every day crit their own Flutter Ray, but yeah, I think as long as the Flutter Ray didn't have Protect, I won the game if Iron Treads. If not, if the Tingler is Choice Band, I think they lose the game anyway, because all I have to do is stall with Dragonite, and then like as soon as they Earthquake their own Flutter Mane, then I just go for Dragon Claws into the Tinglu because it's locked into the Earthquake. So I felt at that point I'm okay, but I guess it also depends, because I think they need like a boost item to KO Iron Treads. Like without a boosting item, they weren't able to pick up the knock on Iron Treads, and then that means that Iron Treads is still around to dress in the Flutter Mane regardless. Dragonite, Iron Bundle, Bronzong, Tinglu, Flutter Mane, and Arcanine. I'm used to seeing like some kind of a Bomb of Snow on this, but all right, how do I want to exactly utilize this matchup? I have a few possibilities. The Garganacl with the Iron Defense could be really good, but the question is, what kind of Tinglu is it? Is it Policy, or is it going to be Choice Band? The Bronzong could also be, I guess, a little bit of a concern. The Iron Bundle is something I'm going to have to really pressure. I think Iron Treads is probably not super strong in this matchup. Eelektross can be. I do have some really great ways to damage my opponents. I like the Eelektross plus the... This might be a really weird combination, potentially. Flutter Mane is also not bad. It's pretty safe as a lead, actually. I kind of like the Flutter Mane plus the Eelektross angle. And then having the back, maybe the Dragonite and the Garganacl. I'm not super worried about their Flutter Mane. I'm more worried about like their defensive options in the Bronzong and the Tinglu. Tinglu is probably the scariest Pokemon that I want to deal with. I'm not bringing Sheehan Pow just because of the Arcanine Intimidate, the Bronzong that kind of walls it. I don't think it's really that great of a bring. So I'm going to try to break through it with other options. Garganacl can kind of beats the Bronzong with Salt Cure at least. We're going to see Arcanine plus the Bronzong lead. So this is kind of like your standard Trick Room, I guess. Eelektross plus the Flutter Mane is going to come out. So is this Tinglu coming out? I kind of just want to Shadow Ball. Do I just want to Moonblast the Arcanine? I kind of want to double the Arcanine because I feel like Arcanine might just swap here into Tinglu because you want the Bronzong to live an attack, right? I really do. You know what? Oh, I don't have Grass Slots Giga Drain. That's definitely not picking him a knockout then. So I think we changed plans. I think I'm just going to Thunderbolt and Shadow Ball the Bronzong then. And get some damage. We're actually not going to see a swap, so that actually works out better for me. We are going to see, what is this, a Terrafire on the Bronzong? Which I wouldn't be surprised of. Yeah, it's Terrafire Bronzong. Makes sense. You want to avoid getting burned from the Arcanines out there. So we will be able to get some pretty decent damage off into the Bronzong with Shadow Ball plus Thunderbolt. Like, this is a Life Orb. Shadow Ball should do like 40%, like 40-ish, 50-ish. Nice. And Thunderbolt as well. They're going to go for Flare Blitz immediately into the Eelektross. Wow, that does so much damage. What? Oh, it's Choice Band and Arcanine most likely. Or a Life Orb. Yeah, one of the offensive items. Jeez, that did so much damage. Here comes a Thunderbolt into the Bronzong. Very solid damage. And they go straight for the Heavy Slam, actually. Okay. Into my Flutter Mane. Don't mind that. Okay. Leftovers Bronzong. Not Goggles. Interesting choice. I think this is a pretty decent situation, however. If it's offensive Arcanine, I think my play is just to go into Dragonite. Yeah, I like the idea of just going Dragonite and Heart Swapping into my Garganacl. I like the idea of going for Dragon Claw potentially. Do I want to go for Dragon Claw into the Bronzong, or do I want to Dragon Claw the Arcanine? I kind of want to position... I think it's Extreme Speed, actually. I think it's Extreme Speed and Arcanine. Now, you might be wondering why I'm going for Extreme Speed and Arcanine. It's because I want to keep the Arcanine on the field so I can go for Iron Defense. Because I feel if I have any position except Iron Defenses, it's right now with the Garganacl. So I feel that to leave the Arcanine and the Bronzong in this state allows my best chance of saving this Iron Defense. I say Extreme Speed, my slot, which I'm not too surprised about. So let's see. Hopefully Extreme Speed doesn't pick up the knockout. Perfect. That's in the Life Orb recall range. They body press to cover for Terra Normal. Excellent. Yeah, that's best case. Crit. Okay. Hopefully it doesn't matter for any specific changes. I'm not risking this Arcanine having close combat. I'd rather them extreme speed heavy slam my Dragonite, I think. So I'm going to go for my Iron Defense and set it up. Yes, that is the play. We're going to go for the Iron Defense and extreme speed. They already tear the Bronzong, so they can't tear the Iron Bundle into Ghost. After an Iron Defense, I should be able to knock out the bundle, I believe. So I feel in a pretty safe spot. I guess another play I could have done was just Terra immediately. I could have Terra'd my Garganacl immediately. However, I don't want to Terra Garganacl because there's still a chance I might tear the Dragonite. So I might as well just extreme speed guarantee the Arcanine because they might close combat. So we will pick up the knockout into the Arcanine. Fantastic. And to get the Iron Defense set up. Yeah. Let's see. Bronzong goes for the body press. Okay, that's doing no damage as you can see. Perfect. I think Bronzong should go down to Dragon Claw for my Dragonite. And if it's Iron Bundle coming out, I'm just going to body press it and I'm just going to Dragon Claw the Bronzong. Yeah, I think that's the play. Or should I just extreme speed? It is Iron Bundle being revealed here. I feel like you have to Hydro Pump. Yeah, I feel like you just have to Hydro Pump. So I'm going to go for a... It was also Booster Energy, so we confirmed it. We're going to go for Body Press, and we're going to go for a Dragon Claw. If they go for... I mean, the only thing I'm really worried about, I guess, maybe is Trick Room. And bundle Chaos Dragonite, then to get Ting Lu in and activate a Policy. I guess that would be the only thing I would really be worried about. We're going to get a Terra with our Organical. I'm hoping Body Press does actually pick up the knockout. If it doesn't pick up the knockout, that's actually a little bit concerning. But I think I still have okay options. It protects the Iron Bundle. So this actually works out in my favor because Dragon Claw should knock out the Bronzong. Maybe they're scouting for Protect from my Dragonite. Did it pick up the knockout? Okay. But the Bronzong can't do that much damage, which is cool. So they were probably scouting for a Terra as well. Oh, they go for Iron Defense. Okay. That's perfect. I'm really not scared of Iron Defense Bronzong itself. And Body Press covers the Ting Lu so nicely. So I'm always just going to go for a Body Press into the Iron Bundle. And I'm going to extreme speed the Iron... Should I extreme speed? I could protect too. But I feel like I should take the knockout on the Bronzong since I have the opportunity to. Yeah, I'm going to take the knockout on the Bronzong. That was going to be forfeit because I think they kind of realized they're in a really bad position where I'm just able to kind of get knockouts. And a crit doesn't knock out Garganacl. Felt like I was in a super safe spot. So nice. Overall, just able to get some pretty strong start. The damage immediately was not what I was expecting, but it ended up working out. Tyranitar, Lycanroc, Garchomp, Talonflame, the Fluttermane, and Chi-Yu. Now, definitely got some pretty scary Pokemon. Iron Treads is actually pretty decent in this matchup. It does do quite a bit to my opponent overall, especially against maybe the Fluttermane Chi-Yu if it's not Icy Wind, Speed Booster, Flutter. I do kind of like the Iron Treads maybe as a lead. I don't know. I do really like it though. I think I am going to try out Iron Treads plus maybe Eelektross lead because I think Eelektross helps cover the Talonflame. It also helps cover a Tyranitar if it's Terra Flying for a combination. I think it's really good into this. I don't know what else I really want to bring because I have no idea if I'm going to Terra or not. Maybe the Iron Treads to get rid of its Steel typing in this matchup, which I definitely could see myself go for. Extreme Speed could be really good cleanup for their Chi-Yu and Fluttermane. I have to think about this. Garganacl is not too bad in this matchup either. But I think I do want... Do I want Extreme Speed? I feel like I probably do. I think I do want Dragonite in this matchup. And oh boy. And I think I want Fluttermane just because it outspeeds the Chi-Yu. I'm trying to cover for Terra Ghost. So if they Terra Ghost anything, Fluttermane can hit it pretty hard with a Shadow Ball. Let's see if I'm right. I could have definitely seen myself bring Garganical as well. I think Garganical definitely could have been pretty strong in this matchup, but I do expect my opponent to maybe go with like the Chi-Yu and the Flutter to try and break through it. We're going to see Tyranitar, Lycanroc, which is not too surprised as a lead. This pressures like Endeavor and a few other things, but I think the Eelektross is actually in a pretty decent position right now. So we will be able to get our booster energy with our Iron Treads and get that speed boost activated, which is pretty solid here. Now, do I want to go for Rock Slide or do I want to go for Earthquake? Both aren't terrible in this position. I don't think a double up can knock out the Lycanroc though with Earthquake Thunderbolt just because of the Sand Special Defense boost, however. So I think I'm just going to lock into Earthquake, and I think Discharge here should be pretty solid. Covers for the Tyranitar and the Terra Flying. We are going to see a Terra coming out from my opponent, which is going to be the Tyranitar, and we'll see if it's close combat or Rock Slide. If it's Rock Slide, just got to dodge a few flinches, you know, just like the nature of the game. We'll see, and hopefully maybe Eelektross can get a para if it is going to be like, you know, if we do get unlucky. Let's see. That does so much damage to Eelektross. Jeez, it's a crit. I was about to say that did way too much. Wow, that's a terrible start. And this is how I guess we played a game of Pokemon. Is this winnable? Yes, I guess. I'm gonna discharge para their entire team, right? Well, that is how the game goes sometimes. That puts me in a really terrible position where I could have been, you know, knocking out the Lycanroc. Good damage in Tyranitar. Would have been a fantastic position, but unfortunately the game doesn't let me. I could also see Lycanroc protecting the Tyranitar just going on the offense here. But looks like that's not going to be the case. Are they just clicking Rock Slide again? Oh, they close combat this time. Okay. Discharge Para on the Lycanroc? Discharge Para on the Lycanroc actually gives me a way back in. Here comes Discharge. I guess maybe if Extreme Speed from Dragonite Chaos, but I don't think it will. Yeah, that damage is not enough. Process on Tyranitar. I needed a Lycanroc, though. It is not on the Lycanroc. We do get the para, though, on the Tyranitar, however, which is nice, I guess. I mean, realistically, would have preferred the Lycanroc over the Tyranitar, but okay. This is probably close comment to Rock Slide. I think I just have to sack this Mon, however. Yeah, I'm just gonna go for a... Do I Iron Head here? I feel like Iron Head is never worth it. Or actually, is it? Iron Head? No, Iron Head is probably better. They're not switching Chi-Yu, that's for sure. I'm gonna Iron Head and go for... I think Thunderbolt will just barely miss a knockout Tyranitar anyway, so I might as well just go for a Discharge because I can get a Paralysis on the Lycanroc, and maybe that can open up some doors here. I don't think Thunderbolt knocks out the Tyranitar, so the play I think that they could make is just protect the Lycanroc here and go... Oh, they're going for Rock Slide. This game sometimes is so painful. Well, at least I get the Iron Head off. So Lycanroc goes down. There is hope. There is hope. Oh my goodness. Okay. Double Rock Slide into the Iron Treads. Sand will continue to get some damage off into the Tyranitar. All right. So I think I could maybe come back in this game with Flutter Mane combined with the Dragonite, but it's going to be pretty rough right here. Talonflame going to come in. All right. I'm really too fearful of like, well, Talonflame, Brave Bird isn't going to KO the Flutter Mane unless this is some really offensive version for some reason. I am worried about like how much damage this Talonflame is going to be able to do. I don't think I can knock... Yeah, I can outspeed and knock it out, so there's not really a point here. I think I just go for a Terra Blast immediately into the Tyranitar, which I think should pick up the knockout this range and Shadow Ball the Talonflame to put an Extreme Speed range. Most likely a Tailwind is going to come out. And we're going to have to stall some Tailwind turns, so let's see. I would like to... I mean, it really just depends on who they have in the bag. I think that's going to be the big question mark. I imagine this is Tailwind. This could be Will-O-Wisp. If it's Will-O-Wisp, that's pretty bad, but we'll find out. They do just go for Tailwind, which I'm not too surprised about, however. I wonder if their last is Flutter Mane. So Shadow Ball is going to come out into the Talonflame. I'm hoping Terra Blast can knock out the Tyranitar since it's no longer a rock type, so it doesn't resist. We are going to get the Terra Blast off first. Okay, maybe we have a chance. Maybe. Terra Blast. Yeah, okay. Tyranitar goes down. It comes out to the last Pokemon. All right. I'm very curious on how this end game is going to play out because it also depends on... It really depends on their back. Talonflame taking sand damage, so it wasn't Goggles. I'm unfortunately going to be losing my multi-skill on my Dragonite to the sand. Let's see what their last Pokemon is. Chi-Yu, okay. Huh. Okay. I double protect here to stall out a turn of Tailwind. I feel like depends heavily on the Chi-Yu item. I want to scout for if this is a Quick Guard Talonflame, which I don't think is going to be the case, but might as well just cover for it. Let's see. It really just depends on the item on the Chi-Yu, I think. If it's Specs, Heat Wave is very questionable. I know I am taking extra turns of sand damage, but I think I have to at this point. Maybe not. Maybe Flutter Mane. No, maybe I should do Extreme Speed Moonblast if I'm going for Extreme Speed Endgame. Let's see. I go for Will-O-Wisp, which makes sense, into the Dragonite, and the Chi-Yu is going to go for a Heat Wave, I imagine. Overheat, actually, into Flutter Mane. I'm okay with that. Sandstorm subsides. Actually, no, I didn't take chip damage, so yeah, the correct play was always to double protect here. All right, we have a game. Extreme Speed the Talonflame and Moonblast the Chi-Yu. All right, Extreme Speed goes off into Talonflame. Talonflame goes down. Rocky Helmet damage, though, that could actually matter. I had a feeling because it wasn't Goggles. Let's figure it out. Overheat is going to come out into the Flutter Mane. That's going to pick up a knockout, which is a-okay because you're -2 special attack now. The Dragonite should survive one hit, and then I think Terra Blast and Extreme Speed picks up the knockout. It is Life Orb Chi-Yu, though. Oh boy, can Dragonite survive this attack? That's going to be a really important question. I do not think I want to... Well, it should be Overheat, Dark Pulse, Heat Wave, Protect, right? I don't think the Chi-Yu... I mean, I'm not a fast Dragonite, so I don't think that stalling out the Tailwind does anything for me. And I guess if this is for some reason Nasty Plot, I might as well just go for the Terra Blast. We go for the Overheat, and we dodge some justice in this game. We get a Terra Blast off into the Chi-Yu, and that's going to finish it off. I don't know, though, if -2 Overheat would have KO'd the Dragonite. Granted, its Life Orb beats a Ruin, but... I don't know. Dragonite's a decently bulky mon. But I'm amazed we actually came back from that. Crit flinched the first 2 turns, but was able to get enough damage overall into their team, get rid of their Lichen Rock because they went for a really greedy Rock Slide, and then, yeah. This game sometimes, this game. All right, let's go over to games. Game 1, Eelektross and Iron Treads was hard for my opponent to stop, and I was able to push the advantage to win. Game 2, not sure about dealing with Orpworm, but I was able to get the knockout with Flamethrower, which I'm still unsure if the crit mattered, but was able to be in a great spot, especially after the double into the Excalibur. Game 3, not the best start, losing Pokemon early, but I was able to anticipate the Arcanine's attacks and position the Garganacl into a game-winning state. Game 4, double flinch turn 1, but played it out and ended up being able to set up a strong Flutter Mane Dragonite endgame. Okay, Eelektross. It's actually funny because I feared this a lot in Series 1, but its stats aren't exactly the greatest, but I felt like the combination of just Earthquake Discharge was, of course, really just, you know, very powerful. I like having electric type that, of course, is immune to ground. Just having a ground immunity in general is amazing. But fun team overall. If you do want to try out, there is a rental code on your screen that is available, and you can obviously check out the details of the team and the creator down below the description. And of course, subscribe to the channel for more VGC content as always.